knowledge that our government, our social services and our police forces sacrificed a generation of our daughters at the hands of the multiculturalism altar. Where is the sign? On the writing outside this court, it says we will defend the children of the poor and punish the wrongdoer. That's what it says on this court. We will defend the children of the poor and punish the wrongdoer. They have not defended the children of the poor. They are punishing the people who speak out in defence of the children of the poor. You wish to try and portray that I am hated, whereas in reality, it's you that are hated. You have lied, you have played your part, and all of you who call yourself journalists, you all knew what was happening to those girls in all of those towns and cities, and you've done nothing, you said nothing. I think we should remember why we are here. What was I talking about outside that court that day? There are still young girls now in every single town and city that have been taken from us, taken from their mums as sexual slaves at the hands of Islamic gangs. I want to spend, if the intention of this imprisonment was to prevent the public having knowledge, I want to spend the next 6 months travelling to towns and cities that have been blighted by these problems.
I look at my kids daily and think, if you wasn't here, I wouldn't be here.
What happened the first time with Bob Barley?
I slept with him.
How old was you?
I was 11, Tom.
He had sex with you when you was 11, so he raped you. Oh my God, and were the police involved in that?
Yeah, and because the charges were dropped.
Who got the police involved?
My parents. I stayed to talk to you.
Oh babe, I wish I had your number myself.
Because I said to my mum yesterday, I was like, Tommy will know the truth. I didn't think I'd be strong enough to sit here now and talk to you. I didn't.
Do you mind if I ask why you are sat here talking to me?
Because I think that I'm sat here talking to you because you should know the truth. It's all right having it third hand or...
Do you mind if I ask why you want me to have the truth?
Because I think there's so many other girls out there that are being abused by these people. Just be straight up and tell everyone the truth, how it actually happened.
Now I should tell you, an independent inquiry into the sexual exploitation of children in Telford and Wrekin has been going on for well over 2 years. It's been led by the law firm Eversheds Sutherland. The problem is, and I'm quoting from its terms of reference, the aim and purpose of the inquiry is to raise public awareness into child exploitation in Telford during the period of the inquiry, and the inquiry wants to hear from survivors of abuse. But if accusations are made, the accused will be notified of the accusation and given the name of the accuser. That's a legal obligation. The accuser can object to the accused being informed, but then the inquiry cannot use their evidence. We have also been told that many of those who know most about what has gone on in Telford and Wrekin, the police, social services and counsellors, many of them are refusing to help the inquiry at all. The inquiry will do nothing to bring justice for the victims. Now we know the flagship Telford investigation, Chalice, resulted in 11 convictions. 11. That's it. Yet our shoestring investigation has been given over 200 names of alleged perpetrators. We also know the independent inquiry has been given over 300 names. We can shortcut the conclusions of the inquiry for you. The performance of the police, social services, counsellors, it was woeful at best, but more than likely a deliberate attempt to cover up these crimes against little girls for fear of being called racist, or in the interests of community cohesion, or, as we will hear and see, because of corruption. Covering things up doesn't create community cohesion. It does the opposite. Any right-thinking member of the community, of any community, regardless of their culture or their religion, would agree. It also destroys trust in public institutions, the very institutions that taxpayers fund to protect us all, especially the vulnerable. Police, social services, politicians. No one's been fired for this cover-up or corruption, and I suspect no one has even had so much as a verbal or written warning. These people just shuffle off into retirement with their fat pensions. And the abuse is still going on today, right now, in Telford and Wrekin. Watch this.
In terms of there's an independent inquiry going on at the moment, which is being hosted by an independent QC and an independent solicitors.
Well, will that
we are supplying them. We are
public?
supplying them with 40 years worth of information.
40 years.
40 years worth of information.
40 years, children have been failed.
So that the inquiry can have a
40 years, children have been failed.
Full understanding of the situation that Telford stays at.
It won't be released just like.
Yeah, that's right. The police in Telford have passed 40 years of evidence to the independent inquiry. They've known what has been going on in that town for 40 years, as of the council, social services and the government. And we know, and they know, it's still going on today.
Can we start at the beginning of the abuse, yeah? And go through, so because we've got your dad's account, but we've not just got your dad's, we've got 4 or 5 other girls from Telford's accounts. A lot of the names and the actions matched up with some of what your dad said. But are you comfortable if we just talk through so I can hear it? Yeah.
That happened when I was 11.
Yeah.
At the Mint Indian in Trench Road.
Yeah.
I started working there. Maybe in April, summertime it was. And for the first 3 months, I was doing deliveries with Dad. Then it became a thing where someone took a holiday and they said, I need someone inside. So I started working inside.
Is this in the evenings?
Yeah. I worked there packing orders.
Yeah.
And answering the phone. People would come in there and look and think, well, she's too young to be here. Or they would say, oh, do you work here? I'd be left in the restaurant then while Dad went on deliveries, packing the orders. You know, then you get the flirty eyes and the touching and be like, oh, well, there's not enough space there, knowing that there was space there. Then my dad started working on the pizza shop next door. He renovated it and a new face appeared, Barber Ali. I started talking to him. Then he started touching me sexually.
When you was 11?
Yeah, when my dad would go, he would touch me sexually. And, you know, I thought, oh, it's normal. I'm a kid, I thought it was normal. And obviously then I started talking to him, meeting up with him on his days off or when my school holidays. One day my mum found out. She caught me texting him on the laptop and it stopped.
So your mum found out and it stopped?
Yeah.
But he'd been raping you?
Yeah.
And how old was he?
He was about 28.
Where would he rape you?
In his car.
You were 11?
Yeah.
So it started for you when you was just 11?
Yeah.
And you said the police were involved?
Yeah. And my police officer was DC Joe Hayes.
And that's when you was 11?
Yeah.
So DC Joe Hayes was involved at the age of 11?
Yeah.
And did they arrest him,
They did
Barber Ali?
investigations. He was bailed.
Okay.
And then about 6 months into the process, fell apart. So I was told.
But even if you were to not pursue the case, the police should have prosecuted him if they had. Did you give a a statement? Were you
I did tell
a video statement?
I did 3 hours of video statement. They had my laptop, they had the phone.
All his messages?
Yeah.
And from that police investigation, so the charges were dropped?
Yeah, everything was dropped.
When all this was blown back up with Telford, did the police come and speak to you about that case?
No.
Has anyone ever spoke to you about that case?
No.
But they did arrest that man at the time?
Yeah, and bailed him.
And his name?
Barber Ali.
Where's he now?
Birmingham.
He's living in Birmingham?
Because he tried contacting me again on Facebook.
Recent?
2018.
And he's in Birmingham. And what was you told when you was 11?
He was deported.
Now, before we go further into Nicole's story, it's time we heard a little more about one of the families in Telford. In fact, 2 brothers. Gulfras Khan, also known as Gaz or Bugsy, and Mohammed Charlie Khan. There are a number of allegations in what follows, and we have been given the names of these 2 men by several girls. We want to be clear, nothing has been proven against either of them. Like the independent inquiry though, we will be giving them the right to respond to the allegations made.
Where would you be?
I'd be in the car.
With?
Either Mohammed Charlie Khan, Rizwan, Tariq, Mahmood, or Bugsy.
And how old was you?
12.
And what would they be doing when you're in the car?
They would talk to me about going to meet certain people, not to tell my dad if they told me to go to that person.
Okay.
So days off, I'd say to my mum, I feel ill, or and she'd be like, oh yeah, you can have the day off. And I'd go out. And going out, I'd drop drugs off, I'd meet certain people, drop money off to people.
When you were aged 13, 12 and 13, 4, who would you be doing these errands for?
It'd be either Bugsy, Mohammed Charlie Khan, or Agril Khan. This boy's single, or this guy's single, well not boy, but this guy's single, you know, maybe you should go meet him. And
This was Mohammed Charlie Khan?
Yeah.
And you was how old?
About 12, 13. And it became a vicious circle because if it wasn't Mohammed Charlie Khan, it was Gufraz Khan.
So Mohammed Charlie Khan and Gufraz Khan, did either of them rape you?
No.
But they were the ones that were telling you who you had to go and meet?
Yeah. So he would make me believe that, you know, I had to do something.
Yeah.
Or I would be physically either beaten. He would
When you say
tell my parents or my dad.
When you say do something, you mean he would make you?
Go and see perpetrators.
Okay.
Be abused by perpetrators.
Okay. So he would be Charlie Khan?
Mohammed Charlie Khan. He was also a mental abuser. He would tell me to go and do things to perpetrators.
Who are the main people instructing you and telling you who you had to go and have sex with?
Mohammed Charlie Khan and Gufraz Khan.
Do you know what Mohammed Charlie Khan does?
He's a solicitor, isn't he?
He's a solicitor.
And he lives at...
So Mohammed Charlie Khan would tell you regularly the men that you had to go and meet when you were what age?
12, 13. And Gufraz Khan was the same.
That description sounds like Mohammed Charlie Khan was your pimp.
Yeah.
So you were controlled by these men for years?
Yeah. They were in control. They would supply the drugs, they would supply the money, all because they're money laundering.
So Charlie Khan and Gufraz Khan were involved in the drugs?
Drugs, because they supply it.
They were supplying the drugs?
And their nephews supply it. So if they've got no funds and they've got no drugs, little men will fall. They won't have nothing to abuse anybody. They won't have no instructor to be instructed by.
So if I asked you, you lived in Telford, you were abused by many men, who was the kingpin? Who was the main organiser?
Gufraz Khan.
Gufraz Khan. Do you know what position Gufraz Khan holds now? Are you aware?
I don't.
No? He's the chair of the Telford Muslim Forum.
Believable. It's believable, isn't it? Man seems to have his fingers in many pies. And that's how we all see it.
Is he the fucker who's preaching about grooming in the mosque?
Mohammed Charlie Khan, his brother.
Okay, yeah, Mohammed. So he's as far as everyone's aware, he's a pillar of that community.
He is, yeah. And he will be like, oh, grooming's wrong, we don't believe in that. You're doing it.
insulting our religion, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah. This is, you know, these people who do bad things, their names come in the media, Muhammad, Abdullah, whatever they are, all these Muslim names, especially these pedos, you know, God forbid. They go up and down the country, Muslim people attacking young women. How insulting is that? You know, really, if these people are doing it, alhamdulillah, we got sisters, we got daughters, we want our, is it safe? Why would we attack other people's?
So there you see it. Mohammed Charlie Khan, teacher in the mosques, solicitor, pillar of the community, explaining how wrong grooming is. Now you've heard about these two pillars of the community, Gulfrest Khan and Mohammed Charlie Khan. One the chair of the Telford Muslim Forum, one a solicitor who teaches in the mosque. And we've heard the accusations about their involvement in the drug business in Telford and the pimping of little girls. Well, we've also heard mentioned their nephews. Two of them are of interest to us, Aqib Khan and Akil Khan. Let's meet them.
See me in a Rolls Royce, a 6 or 7 star hotel, living my life to the fullest. Don't get jealous of me, because I worked my ass off to get it. Nobody handed me nothing. Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside. It's game on.
ਸਾਡੇ ਰੁਤਬੇ ਮੜਕ ਠਰਮੇ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਪਤਾ ਬਾਲਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਨੂ ਸਾਡੀ ਯਾਰੀ ਔਖੀ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਐ ਜੋ ਸੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ
family not friends round here we stay loyal to the end round here someone tell me how the enemy sleeping it must be cowards that we're beefing all their death threats but we're still breathing when we catch one of them we got section 18 him GBH with intent round here I might show you.
And for the police and members of the public who think taking a knee is a strong statement for Black Lives Matter or just for Black lives or good for community relations, you're all fools. Here's what these Muslims make of your strong statement. Bobby Khan, another family member, commented on their post of the kneeling Telford police. B unit got the 5-0 on locks. That's the banana unit. Their gang has the 5-0, the police, on locks. They've got the police in Telford under control. And Bobby Khan says, dogs on their lead. Ha ha ha. His spelling isn't very good, but police, he's laughing at you. They are all laughing at you. We wasn't as interested in Aqib Khan, but as it happens, we can see from this article of Legal Futures that the Solicitors Regulation Authority decided, and their professional standards aren't exactly the highest, but they decided, what with Aqib being a convicted stalker, making threatening phone calls to a woman and following her in his vehicle. Aqib, was it the posh one that you rented for your TikTok video? Well, they decided you had better work your trainee solicitor arse off in a different profession. You were banned from working in the legal profession in June 2021. So unlike this website, it would appear that Aqib Khan hasn't got a legal future. But for this film, we're much more interested in the story of Aqib's brother. What do you want, Nicole?
I don't want to be living this for the rest of my life. I want to be able to move on and bring my kids along. I've got 2 girls, Tom. But I'm glad I've met you myself.
I'm glad I've met you, baby. Look, you obviously understand my objective on this is simply the truth. Yeah? If the truth doesn't fit certain things, I just want the truth.
So, Akil Khan was raped when I was 13 in his car. There was Matashba fruit in his flat at Barn Close. I was 13. I went there numerous times, but at this time, my dad found me.
This is the story we've heard from your dad's, and you were 13 then.
Nicole was in number 49 in hysterics. Janine went into number 49 and that's where Nicole was crying her eyes out. She got brought down the stairs by Janine down the block of flats. Well, obviously me and my brother, we were still up on the top floor. As I come down that block of flats and come out, I called the police and sat Nicole in the car outside. She was in hysterics. Her uncle John, he come to her and she said she'd been raped.
He was that hurt by it, he got out of the car and he couldn't wait for the police to come. He needed to go. And then Mark's brother, Paul, he sat in the car with her. She'd explained to him what had gone on. And then the police asked him to go to the police station. And he said what was said in that statement, it was heartbreaking, and I'll never forget it from that day to this.
What they did to her?
Yeah.
Then after that, it was short time after that, that's when Billy Scott appeared at our house, sat on our settee with a DS Cindy Henry, and turned around and said nothing had happened at the block of flats. Nothing had happened.
And who raped you in that flat?
Matashka Farouk.
Just him?
Yeah.
How old was he?
He must have been pushing his 30s.
And this is when the police were involved?
Yeah.
But you were already pregnant to a kill, okay, so when you've gone
But
to...
at that time, I didn't know, so I started feeling really ill, and I came home from school and I was locking myself away, and one day I thought something's not right, so I got my own test and come back positive when I was at school. I was like, what am I going to do? And I didn't tell anyone, so I found out about 3 weeks before, and my nan said to Mum, you need to do a test. And obviously I did it. And
so then when you've done that, police have got involved. I guess you give a statement explaining about Gil and explain.
Well, I've got, Tom, I need to call the police because I've got a big file, right, that I've wrote myself. It's like a diary of every account that happened, every person, every name, every address, every phone number, every registration number. I then told Akil Khan because when I found out, so I was in a situation that I didn't know what to do, and I got offered £20,000 to keep the baby by Gufraz Khan.
Gufraz Khan offered you £20,000?
Yeah. There was also Sham Hussein, he's from Birmingham. That started when I was 12 until I was nearly 14.
He raped you?
Yeah, he raped me in his car. We went to Newport, there was a field, and we drove down that field, like a back lane.
How old was you?
13 and a half.
And what's his name?
Sham Hussein, and he had a silver Corsa, 12 plate, like new shaped.
And he took you out was it pitch black in the middle of...
It was daylight.
Daylight?
Yeah, and there was a lady, she had some dogs, and she was like, what are you doing? She's a child. Then there was Cam Khan. He took me to the back of Shifnal to buy a tree and raped me there. I was about 13. I met him at McDonald's car park where I did oral sex in the car with him.
How old was you?
13. They're like, oh well, she hasn't made an effort today, so then you're beaten.
So you were forced to attempt to look good and impressive for their sexual desires.
Yeah. It's like now,
through fear of being attacked by them.
Because of this, I don't wear makeup on a regular. It's because I've come here today. I don't wear makeup, Tom. I can go out of my house with a plain face and feel alright. I can go out, not looking like a tramp, but be a different person because I was forced for so long to have that look.
Yeah.
And I'm only just getting back to myself where I can feel comfortable in my own body. Because for so long, they was like, oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that. So for so long, I tried to be someone I wasn't.
Well, I haven't sort of descriptive terms do they use for you?
I was called a gurra,
You was called a gurra.
which is a white bitch.
Do you remember who by?
Numerous of virtually all of them.
Were they using that term when abusing you, when sexually abusing you?
Both. Like if you didn't, like I say, if you didn't look a certain way, they'd be like the slaggy gurras here.
So you're regularly called a white bitch?
So I was constantly like feeling like I had to be someone I wasn't.
What we've done is we've sat with 4 or 5 girls. We've got names, we've got a wall, the whole size of that wall, yeah, with who they are, their links, their family trees. It's all that I'm going to tell you know more than anyone, it's all intertwined. Yeah. The ages you were.
I want you to understand the scale of the investigation we've done. We've sat down, along the top here you'll see survivors. They're survivors, not victims. You'll see that from the courage they show during these series. We have survivors, we have their parents. We sit down with them. Sometimes we interview them for 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 hours, sometimes 2, 3 times. We then take the interviews, we go through, we transcribe it, and we take out the details and the names that they give us that the allegations are against for who's raped them, yeah? And we build a spreadsheet in a database like this. So this is a spreadsheet. And if we go through, I want you to see the scale. We're looking for page 6 on this and we have the name of the perpetrators, we have accessories to the crimes, we have specifically, this box is the specific crimes and the certain detail that we need to know, yeah? And if we go through at the end, when you see it highlighted in red, that is where a victim has named a perpetrator. So the perpetrator's names are down here. And for this, I'm going to page 6 because I want to see Bugsy, our friend Bugsy, Gulfras Khan, the big timer. And Bugsy, if we get here, this is Gulfras Khan, number 12. We have the allegations against him, the serious allegations against him. And then 1, 2, 3. This means he's been named by 3 different survivors as being involved in their prostitution, in their trafficking, and in their rape. Let's carry on going so you can see the scale of this, okay? We've ended up with hundreds of names. We know the police investigation identified over 200 men in Telford alone, yeah? We've done that with only 10 victims, okay? There's 1,000 victims in Telford. Now we'll keep going, look, it keeps going, you get the point, yeah? I just want you to realise the scale of the investigation we've done our homework, we've pieced it together, and that creates what we're going to see now. This isn't all of them, okay? And I've separated these into tribes because they separate themselves into tribes. These gangs, there's different gangs that operate in different parts of the town. We're focusing on this, okay? This is the family tree we're looking at the minute. We have Bugsy, we have Charlie Khan. We have allegations against pretty much every family member, okay? But we're going after the ones with multiple allegations.
And when you say you met them, the names you just listed, this is you're 12 years old, you're working in this Indian restaurant. Did you have, was there abuse from each of them?
With Guru Khan, as we know. I got pregnant when I was 13, went for an abortion.
So Aquil Khan.
ਸਾਡੇ ਰੁਤਬੇ ਮੜਕ ਠਰਮੇ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਪਤਾ ਬਾਲਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੀ ਯਾਰੀ ਔਖੀ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਐ ਜੋ ਸੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਲੰਡੂ ਫਿਰਨ ਬਥੇਰੇ ਜੋ ਟੋ ਕੇ ਦੇਖਣ ਜੇਬਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਮੁੱਢ ਤੋਂ ਆਸਤਰ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਮਿੱਤਰ
And was he regularly, was he sexual contact, was he raping you?
Yeah, it was sex, yeah.
It was sex? How often?
It was just the once.
Just the once?
Because I knew it wasn't right. Like, something wasn't right. Like, they were getting me to do things, otherwise they would blackmail me.
Do you mind me asking what they were?
They would blackmail me and say they would kill me.
Yeah.
They would go and tell my dad, and that was my biggest fear, telling my dad.
So Aquil Khan, you said he's raped you when you were 13.
Yeah.
When you were impregnated, yeah? Where did that happen?
It happened on Donington Boxing Club car park.
I've been there.
And he took me, do you know where the Esso Field is, by the McDonald's?
Yeah.
He took me to, like, there's a theatre there, and it happened on that car park.
So when you met the police and you've given them all this information, You was willing to be a witness in the case?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it's like information was given from my dad, accounts from my mum of what she knew, and all of a sudden it was NFA, and it was like.
So you've given the police a catalogue of names, locations, dates of rape, of abuse, and what did that? And so, from your point of view, at that point, how old were you in 2013?
So 8 years off what I am now.
How old are you now?
22.
22. So you're 14. So when you were 14, you've given all the police, you've given statements to all of this, and each one of them have got no further action.
No further action.
How did you feel then?
I gave up. I gave up trying. It's like now we still go on about it, and it's like you're not getting any further forward, so just quit. Because the more you go back,
You're still living it.
You're still living it, and it's affected me mentally. You know, it's affected my life. But I can't. I don't go to a GP and be like, oh well, I've got this wrong.
Have you had counselling?
This wrong. No.
You've never had any counselling? Have you been offered counselling? From nobody?
No.
Would you like counselling?
I would, because I've got PTSD, anxiety and depression. And I feel like I've got a big weight on my shoulders.
You have got a big weight on your shoulders, babe.
But I move forward, Tom.
So you're 14 years old, all the charges have been, there's been no further action. Was you given a reason for no further action?
Well, I wasn't, but they were.
Okay, so one of these men, you were pregnant, you had an abortion. What was that like at 13 years old?
It's trauma. Like, it still plays a part of my life. And it never goes away. I nearly lost my daughter, Tom. My current daughter that I've just had.
Yeah, I know you.
I went through so much with her, and I thought, I've lost her. But if you see her now, Tom, she's thriving.
Is she? Good.
And I did that. But she's me, she's the double of me compared to my others. So I look at her and I think, you're my strength. You're my rock. I fear for their life. I don't care about myself, Tom, I don't. If they're gonna have me, they're gonna have me. But don't hurt my kids.
Okay, if we can, I'll just rewind back to Akila. So when you were pregnant, you've had an abortion, the police are involved, you're 13 years old.
Yeah.
There's possibly two men that could have been the father.
Yeah, which was Akil Khan
Yeah.
and Matash Baffood.
And did you find out who the father was?
It was only after the fetus was sent for DNA that it came back that it was Akil Khan.
Okay, so there was a 100% DNA match on Akil Khan.
I had it.
So when you've gone through this police investigation, so you've given a statement, you've sat down with the police. Did they make an arrest?
Not straight away.
No.
No.
How long did it take for them to arrest him?
About 3 months, then he was bailed. And then I had all the threats.
From?
Akil Khan.
Akil Khan was threatening you. So whilst on bail, he was threatening you?
Yeah, I was a fat bitch, I was all the rest of it. Why did I go and open my mouth? What's coming to me.
Did you tell the police about the threats?
They had it on messages.
They had the threats on messages? Yeah. What did they do?
Nothing. Clearly, they haven't done nothing.
And am I right that he was given no further action?
Yeah.
Man, you was a 13-year-old child.
Yeah. But there was a DNA match.
There's a 100% DNA match on a fetus.
It makes you think, because there was Barraj Singh. Yes, I had interactions with him sexually. He got charged, but someone that has a full DNA match is an NFA.
What reason was given?
I don't know, Tom. I didn't have the paperwork.
Because you was a child.
What
reason was you told?
I wasn't.
No.
They haven't sat down with me and showed me any file.
The police haven't.
But if someone, like Barraj Singh, you you have sexual contact, whatever, can get a prison sentence.
How long did he get?
I think he got 2 years.
So barraging an adult male got 2 years for raping you as a child.
And he was younger than a Creole Khan.
So when you give the police a statement that listed, let's say, how many men do you think in your catalogue that you give to the police were listed as criminal activities towards you?
It was about 16. 16.
And out of those 16, do you mind if I ask the national, were they?
They were Asian.
They were all Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Singh.
He was obviously a Sikh.
So he's a Sikh. So out of the 16, would there be 15 Muslims and 1 Sikh?
Yeah.
And who was prosecuted out of that list?
Bara Singh.
Just the Sikh?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware.
As far as you're aware. Just the Sikh fella.
I couldn't be 100%
on
because I haven't been told anything.
No, that's fine.
But I know Bara Singh did.
And he went to jail?
Yeah.
And as far as you know, none of the others faced prosecution?
No.
A 13-year-old girl was raped by an adult male. The police have a DNA match from the aborted fetus to show that Akil Khan is the rapist. And the police decide no further action, an NFA. We'll move on to the police shortly. Let's just understand how these men terrify young girls. There are 5 dead females at the hands of these gangs in Telford alone.
19 years ago, Tasnim Lowe's home was destroyed in a fire.
Police in Shropshire have begun a murder inquiry after a suspected arson attack in which a mother and her 2 teenage daughters were killed.
I was found wrapped in a blanket under an apple tree. I got a bit of fire on my face.
In that fire, Tasnim lost her grandmother, her aunt, her mum, and then her dad, when he was convicted of their triple murder.
The children are constantly threatened you will end up like Lucy Lowe. We also have Becky Watson and Vicky Round, who are 2 other young girls who have died because of the actions of these gangs.
Also, Gufraz Khan didn't physically abuse me, but he was mentally abusing me. Like if I said I wouldn't do something.
So was Gufraz Khan telling you who you had to sleep?
Yeah. He knew about Cam Khan, and he bribed me and said, if you don't sleep with him, I'm going to tell your dad everything.
Can you tell me what do you think of the power that all of these men you're naming? What sort of power do they hold in that area?
They're very high up. They're well known. They run Wellington. They run Oaken Gates. And anybody that knows anything about them, they will do anything to hurt them.
So they are violent?
They are violent people, and if you don't do what they say, they'll do things to you. I remember, Tom, they used a car to run someone over, and it was hidden behind the restaurant for months.
To take you back to when you were 13, from 11 to 13 or 14, just how scared, when you're going to have to meet these men, how scared are you?
I was petrified. And I would play hell if they wouldn't let me go, my parents. If my parents wouldn't let me go out, I'd play hell. Because I'd know, when I did go, the consequences.
Which were?
It would be people, they would hurt me, Tom.
Physically?
Physically hurt me. And I'd have bruises. I'd come home, go straight in the bath. I'd shut everyone out. Because I knew if my parents said, no, you weren't going out, they would hurt me. So I would kick off a big fuss to go.
How would they treat you when they... Well, was this a matter of old men having sex with a young child?
It was more like...
Were they physically violent during, whilst raping you?
Yeah,
Were they?
It was violent, and it's horrible. It's just torture, and I felt I was tortured all the time. It wasn't the fact that they fill your head with nonsense. Oh, she's pretty. She's blah. She's blah. Oh, she hasn't made an effort today. You had to look a certain way all the time. So if I didn't have like my makeup or whatever, I'd kick off.
So we've heard how the police took no further action against Barbara Ali for raping Nicole when she was 11. We've heard how the police took no further action against Akil Khan when they had DNA proof that he had raped Nicole when she was just 13. What is going on?
I'll tell you my motive with this, just to be straight, is if these men are not going to get prosecuted, I've heard from you, I've heard from lots of girls, I want the whole country to know who they are. I want them to know where their businesses are. And I also want to shine a light on the fact of the police failure and why was there a police failure. What do you know of an allegation that the police were being paid?
By dodgy eye in it.
Can you explain? Can you tell me what you know?
I remember the envelope.
You remember?
And it was a very big envelope, and it was for Gofraz Khan. He was supposed to go to prison, and this envelope was passed down the table, and the evidence was lost.
So Gofraz Khan was supposed to go to prison for, do you know what crime?
Money laundering.
Money laundering. And was this when you were working in the restaurant?
Yeah.
Tell me what you witnessed.
There was a lot of people that night. There was Dad, there was Tariq Mahmood, there was Rizwan Hussein, I think his name is. There was Munchie, there was Bugsy, there was Charlie, there was Akil Khan, and then there was this police officer.
Can you describe him?
He's quite tall, he had grey hair, dodgy eye, slim build. He's about maybe 6 foot tall.
Was he stood at the bar with them, at the table with them?
He sat at the table because they had all just finished eating.
He was eating with them as well?
Yeah.
And you witnessed?
Bugsy, he went down into the main restaurant.
Yep.
And he come back with a brown envelope. And when I say brown envelope, it was stacked.
Yep.
I couldn't even close it. And he passed it in. 10 minutes after he passed it in, he disappeared. A week later, Bugsy sat in my dad's car. And he was bragging, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to prison, Mark. All my problems have gone away." But he removed his names off his properties.
At that time? And Bugsy is
Gofraz Khan. And he moved them into Manjit Singh's name, which is his wife, but one off.
At which point did you know that the man sat around the table with them was a police officer?
I'd met him.
You met him?
I'd met him.
When?
When I went to an interview.
So you went to give an interview about men who had been raping you, and that's when you met the man with the dodgy eye, the same man you'd seen previously receiving money. Do you know that man's name?
I'm not sure of his name. Yeah, I am. Jim Bayliss.
His name's Jim Bayliss.
Yeah.
So you witnessed Jim Bayliss take money.
It's Khan. In 2014, we were taken to the middle floor of Mallinsgate Police Station to a meeting in regards to the progress of this case. When I walked into that meeting, I recognised this man. This man got a dodgy left eye, slick back grey hair, tartan jacket, white shirt, open. And the first words he said was, "Take as much information off that man before he leaves this building." And he left. The penny dropped. I remembered him from Oakengate's Spice Lounge. He took the payout, the payday, from Gofraz Khan. That man was under investigation for money laundering, tax evasion, trafficking of drugs, trafficking of girls. And the whole investigation of 5 years completely collapsed.
Have you ever mentioned any of this to any police officers?
No. I was too scared, for my protection.
Can I ask, why do you think, say for example, we know that over 200 men have been named to the police involved in raping children like yourself, many girls like yourself, that only a handful but been prosecuted. What do you think that is?
I think it's all about status.
What do you mean?
If you have a status, like a high status, or you've got a bit of money, and you can pass a bit of money around.
So you believe it's because of corruption?
Yeah.
You believe corruption in the local police has prevented the prosecutions?
I do. I believe that these people I've named, higher names like Gulfraz Khan and Mohammed Charlie Khan, they've got a bit of money, so they've got a status. Pass a bit of money, things are lost.
But let's not rely on Nicole's view. Let's listen to another view. This superb segment by Patrick Christis on the failures of the police and the media.
Grooming gangs have not gone away. They're not a thing of the past. While police and politicians bury their heads in the sand and worry about being called racist, up and down the country, vulnerable young girls are being systematically abused on an industrial scale by, predominantly, South Asian men. The scale of the problem is absolutely vast. We've had instances in Rotherham, Rochdale, Huddersfield, Aylesbury, Newcastle, Keighley, Oxford, Telford, Manchester. In that case, Greater Manchester Police identified more than 800 members of that gang. When the initial Rotherham grooming gang scandal broke, I think it shocked people. A report into it unearthed that an estimated 1,400 children had been sexually abused in Rotherham between 1997 and 2013 by predominantly British Pakistani men. The abuse included gang rape, forcing children to watch rape, dousing them with petrol and threatening to set them on fire, threatening to rape their mothers and younger sisters, trafficking them to other towns. There were pregnancies, one at age 12, terminations, miscarriages, babies raised by their mothers, babies being removed, and of course, trauma caused and lives shattered forever. And it doesn't just stop with police. It runs right through the media. When the Telford grooming scandal happened, it was, at the time, the UK's largest ever child exploitation case. How did the BBC report it? They put it as a secondary story on their local Shropshire page on their news site. So if you wanted to find out about the UK's largest ever grooming scandal, you had to go to the local news section of the BBC website and scroll down a bit. Presumably this, again, is because they didn't want to stoke racial tensions. But isn't there already racism involved? Reporting the facts is not racist. Predominantly South Asian grooming gangs systematically targeting young, vulnerable white girls because there is a sense, in my opinion anyway, that they're lesser than other people or that they don't matter as much. I'd argue there's an element of racism involved in that, isn't there? Our reporter Kevin Larkin revealed live on GB News yesterday that in Rotherham there are apparently multiple cases of child sexual exploitation taking place, and it appears, although police and the local council vehemently deny this, that the investigation into this is half-baked to say the least. There is an allegation that police have been told about a property where CSE takes place after 10 p.m. And apparently they sent a police officer around at 6 p.m. and concluded that nothing bad was going on. Instead of treating the tens of thousands of vulnerable child victims as an inconvenience, why don't police treat them for what they really are? Human beings who are being broken.
Doing nothing for the victims for fear of being called racist is racist. Racist against the vulnerable white girls being targeted by these Pakistani Muslim men. Doing nothing for the victims for the sake of community cohesion. Well, it does the opposite. It destroys trust in public institutions and it fuels rage in all those who can see the truth. GB News sees the racism, the incompetence. It hasn't yet seen the police corruption.
One last thing, one more thing. I have to be 100% sure that the Jim Bayliss we've identified and we've found is the one that Nicole has made allegations against. So we need to go catch up with Nicole one more time so she can identify him. Good. I've just got one more. I think this was important. I'm 100% sure about everything. In our interview, you named a senior police officer, but I need to know that we're 100%. Yeah. I want to ask if you can look at these pictures. Yeah. Take your time. Don't rush it. And tell me if you recognise any of these men as being the man that you saw at that table. Take your time.
This one.
This one, 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000%.
1,000%?
Yeah.
Okay, so no, I'm sorry for doing this. I mean, I have to be 100% before I make an approach.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole. And just like in other towns and cities up and down the country, we know it's still happening here. Listen to this recent Facebook post in Telford. It took just 2 minutes to find online, and I'm sure there's plenty more.
Do not get into a go-kart taxi on your own. This evening, I was on my way home and the driver went such an unusual way to how they normally do. I didn't really think anything of it at first. I just thought maybe he goes a different route that he prefers. But then we ended up going the complete opposite way to where I had requested. He then powers off the phone that was tracking where we were going and pulls up into some building estate, not a clue where, turns the engine off and looks at me. Me being me, got straight out of the car and walked to the closest sign I could find and rang my mum. He then pulls up alongside me and repeatedly tells me to get back in. I mentioned the fact I'm on the phone to my mum and he speeds off. It was a very scary encounter and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Please be careful when booking with go-cars and do not get in on your own.
The accounts from Nicole's years of abuse at the hands of these men are heartbreaking and they're endless. Remember, apart from the DNA evidence that Akil raped Nicole when she was 13 years old, nothing's been proven. So we think it's time to ask Gulfresh Khan, Mohammed Charlie Khan and Akil Khan for their side of the story. We must also question Jim Bayliss about the accusations of corruption that he's been working with these gangs. A brief on what this is, yeah? We've spent the last 12 months investigating rape gangs in the town of Telford. We've sat down with multiple victims. For example, this is the story of one victim. Every name you see written in black is the name of a man that has raped her. One child this is. We've sat down with multiple victims, okay? And we've got over 200 names of perpetrators. We know of over 200 men that have been involved in rape in this town. We have the targets you'll see here. We have many targets, many family trees. Just so you understand, these men the allegations are these men control the drugs in the town, they control the prostitution, they're heavily involved in violence, okay? Today's targets. Gaz Khan, he is the leader of the Telford Muslim Forum. They're all high ranking, yeah? Charlie Khan is a solicitor and he preaches in the mosque. Akil Khan, he's impregnated a 13-year-old child. None of them have been charged, none have been arrested. We understand why when we got into this investigation, because we have allegations that a former senior police officer in Telford has been spotted with these gang members, has been taking money off them. I need to know every single detail about all of these men. I need to know where they live. We need positive IDs on them. We need to make sure that we know it's the right house. I want to see where they are. I want trackers on their cars. I want you to follow them. I want you to get up close to them. Every single one of their moves, yeah? We're starting on these, but we've got dozens of targets. We started off, we were going to do a film just on Telford, but we want to tell each individual victim's story now, because there's so many targets to highlight. So if we can, we'll start there. We'll just start, get out, we'll meet again. I just need to know every single thing about them, because the purpose of this is for me to give these men a right to reply. There's allegations at all of them, not by one victim, yeah? By multiple victims who do not know each other. That's the point. So we need to see what they've got to say, and I think the British public will want to know who these men are.
Excuse me, is there a shortcut to the hotel this way? Give her that number at 7 o'clock to contact me.
We're live This is a kill. He's come out of his house. This is the vehicle of one of our surveillance teams. Now, the reason why this is so important because they can get up close. They have zooming cameras at the front, zooming cameras at the back. We can position ourselves near any of their houses. We can identify specifically that it's them. This is important because I need to make sure I'm approaching the right people with these serious allegations.
This is where the film gets interesting. I cannot publish these allegations against these men without giving them their right to reply. So we're going to go find them. We're going to see what each one of them have got to say about the allegations being made against them. Let's go.
Stand by. X-ray +1 are out. Moving to their car. They've entered their car and they're pulling off. Orange 1, over to you.
They wouldn't have been there that
That's
long.
in there.
That's in there.
What, that one there?
That's in there.
Yeah, just seen him go past.
That's out of the tree, yeah.
Okay.
Got him.
Left.
What, here on the right? Has he just
Oh,
turned
he's
up?
got that
Yeah,
up.
okay. Right, ready?
Bugsy, how you doing, mate? My name's Tommy Robinson. I've got to ask you some questions about my documentary, The Rape of Britain. We have serious allegations from children who say that you were involved in the rape and prostitution of them, that you were a kingpin and having them trafficked. Well, can we talk? I've got some questions. We have accusations that you trafficked young children. You trafficked young children. You were the kingpin. You chose who they were raped by. You prostituted them. What is your relationship with Inspector Jim Bayliss? Bugsy, what is your relationship with Inspector Jim Bayliss? This man, what we need to know is that these children, these are allegations against this man, and the allegations have come in from children who have fled the country. These children are in hiding. They're a decade on, they're suicidal, they're damaged, mentally, physically, destroyed, And these men, all the men the allegations against, just so people know, are living the life, driving their sports cars, living in big houses, and have the rule of this town still. They haven't been driven from their town. None of these people in hiding like our victims are. So, their allegations, you're going to see the allegations, you're going to see Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, Series 4, Series 5, and so we know there are multiple victims who do not know each other who have alleged this man has trafficked them throughout this town. Come on, let's go. Whereabouts, so is he in KFC car park, yeah?
He's right at the drive-through. He can't get out.
Mohammed, can I ask you some questions? How you doing? I'm doing a film about the rape of a generation of our daughters in Telford. I've seen you give seminars in the mosque, against grooming.
Yeah.
It's quite admirable.
Mate, listen, I know you are. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm against anybody breaking the law. The police are there to get the evidence and bring people to justice. I've got nothing to say. I'm a British citizen. I'm born here. I know you have your opinions about people from my ethnic background, but I see this as my country.
Okay.
And
so can I ask you this?
I've got nothing to say to you.
I'll just ask you this one question. Come on. Why would 3 individual girls who do not know each other all be telling me and giving me statements that you have been involved in their grooming, in their trafficking, and in their prostitution? 3 girls that do not know each other in this town. Why would they be telling me that, Charlie?
Listen, this is complete a lie. I have never ever been involved in any of this business or anything like that. I've been married for over 20-something years. People who know me can vouch. I've never ever been.
I'm asking that question
I don't
again.
know.
Why would 3 girls who do not know each other say that you've been involved? I'll give you one scenario. You dragged a girl in the room, you threw her on the floor, and freshie migrants come in one by one and gang raped her.
Listen, mate.
What do you have to say to that allegation, Charlie?
I have got nothing to say to you.
What's your relationship with Inspector Bayliss, Charlie?
Who?
Inspector Bayliss.
I've got nothing to say
What's
to
your
you
relationship with Inspector Bayliss?
I don't know what you're on about.
I'll ask you again, why would girls who do not know each other, give me your name as being involved in grooming them, trafficking them, and prostituting them?
I have never ever heard of this. I've never ever, as I said to you, I've been married, I've been loyal with my wife, I'm happily married.
You're going to get to see these allegations on screen on the Rape of Britain documentary.
You're a liar, you're making this up. I unequivocally deny all this. I don't know what you're on about. You're just you go around making false allegations against people, innocent people, and you're trying to make bogus claims against people. Okay, I don't know what you're on about. I've got nothing to say to you.
I'll tell you again, Charlie.
Listen,
just so you understand.
You better move away.
Just so you understand, it's not me making bogus claims. Yeah?
Well, listen.
I'm a journalist putting this together.
You're not a journalist. You're a racist.
Okay.
You're a racist.
It's girls that do not know each other, Charlie. All naming you.
I don't care.
Why would they do that?
Listen,
For what reason? Come on.
I've never ever been involved in any of this business. This is a complete utter lie. You're a troublemaker. You're a liar. It's been proved you're a liar. You're a criminal. You got a criminal record. I don't have a criminal record, mate.
Right?
I don't care what you listen. Yeah, okay,
Everyone's going to see who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You might have got away with it You might have got away with it for a decade. You might have thought you were smart. Yeah. You might have thought you were clever. You might have thought you had police officers on your payroll. Right?
Well, you're on about payroll. I'm not in a situation to pay people money. I don't have that kind of money. What you talking about, you liar?
So how come I have children saying you're involved in drug dealing? I have statements saying you're involved in drug dealing.
Move out the way, you liar. This is a complete lie. What nephews? What are you on about? I'm a married man. I'm happily married.
Why would forget it being me here asking the questions? Yeah. Why would girls who do not know each other?
I've just been blocked. Can you move out the way?
Mate, I'm just here to ask you questions. I'm just here to ask you questions. I'm just asking.
You're trying to kidnap me or something?
I'm not trying to kidnap you. I'm just asking.
You've got no right to do this, okay?
I don't have a right to ask you questions. You're in a public space.
From Mr. Bayless. I have two witnesses who saw you at Spice Lounge restaurant taking envelopes of money off of Gulfrest Khan and Mohammed Charlie Khan. What do you have to say to those allegations? Mr. Bayless, this is your right to reply. Over 200 men's names were identified by your police investigation, but only 11 were charged. Why is that? Did you have anything to do with the case's collapsing? Mr. Bayless, this is your opportunity to answer the questions. You have nothing to say. Do you think men should have been prosecuted for the rape of children in Telford? Did you play your part in making sure they didn't? Mr. Bayless. Inspector Bayless, this is your opportunity to answer questions. Why did you leave the police force? I have eyewitnesses who saw you taking envelopes of money off of Pakistani gangsters in the Spice Lounge restaurant in Oakengates. What do you have to say to those allegations? What are you hiding from, Mr. Bayless? You've took your name off the electoral roll. You've gone invisible since 2019. Why did you leave the police force before your pension? You're not going to answer anything. Is this your version of a no-comment interview, Mr. Bayless? Seriously, this is your opportunity to answer. I have witnesses who place you sitting round a table with Mohammed Charlie Khan, Gulfrest Khan, all known Pakistani gangsters from Telford. You're sat at a table with them receiving envelopes. What were in those envelopes? Have you took money to collapse cases? Is that why you left the police force 2 years ago, and is that why you're now in hiding? What is your relationship with Gulfrest Khan? What was your relationship? What's your relationship with Mohammed Charlie Khan? Are they your friends? Did they use you to escape justice in Telford? Nothing to say. Nothing at all to say. If you do fancy a right to reply at any time, you want to know how you contact me? No? Come on. We've asked our questions.
Walk into the back of the yard. Are you alright?
Turn it down. Come on. Inspector Bayless, if you've been involved in corruption, it will come out.
Let me be clear again. No charge has been brought against Gulfrest Khan or Mohammed Charlie Khan, and they both deny the allegations being made against them. Although we know Akil 100% impregnated a child, we've not been able to get a response from him. Jim Bayless, given the same chance to respond, said nothing at all. We have testimony from multiple witnesses on camera making allegations against these men. However, nothing has been proven. What we do know is organised gang grooming, abuse and rape of vulnerable young girls has been going on across the UK for over 40 years, and it's still going on today. So many lives have been destroyed. And if the people we elect to lead us genuinely want to achieve community cohesion, They would do well to recognise the nature of these crimes and apply English law without fear or favour, free from misguided political influences and free from misguided cultural sensibilities. English law for historic crimes, for now and for the future, regardless of the characteristics of those who commit the crimes. The government, the police, social services, local councils and the media, where are you? Where have you been? Where is the protection of the poor? Where is the punishment of the wrongdoer? Where is the exposure of corruption? And where is the drive to bring criminal gangs to justice? Will you stop the destruction of yet more lives? The destruction of young girls like Nicole? For the people of Britain, for the British public, for you watching this, we can and we must shine a light on the darkness within our communities. We know right from wrong, and we cannot allow this evil to be ignored. To Telford Council, to Telford Police, to all those people with dirty hands, just you prepare yourself for Series 2.
As we pulled up, they've jumped in front of us, jumped out, bricks, bats, the lot. Fucking hell. He pulled up here as we come out and he's just come and smashed the car up. Asian male, sorry. Yeah, they were all Asian.
She must have been absolutely terrified.
So what's happened is 2 days ago the window was smashed. Today the window's been smashed again. You had, just so you know, you had a car torched and firebombed 2 days ago. Yeah. Now all of these attacks are being committed by grooming gangs who are targeting the victims' families. Yeah, that's what this is. Now your police officers have come to this house. They've left the family here after their house has been smashed up twice, and they've drove off. In the town we're in, you've had 3 people burned to fucking death by grooming gangs, and the police have actually done nothing for both these visits. They've done nothing to relocate the family. They've done nothing to secure the family. There's no There's no fireproof letterbox been put on the house. It's like they're just sitting ducks being left here. And I find out, and so they are in danger even now in the house. And all anyone wants is for this family to be protected and served, which is the police's job, and not left to be targeted by these gangs. They haven't even took a statement. They've given a crime reference number and left. The mum's been beat up. This lady's been beat up previously. They've set fire to the house previously. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked. I know it's not you. I'm gobsmacked.
No, it's not me. So I personally can't change this. No, I've obviously listened to everything you've said. I've typed up on the log what you've said,
yep.
And I will ask them to review it. But I cannot change what they have done.
So whilst we're sat here, can you contact them and let us know if the police are coming back here to relocate this family into safety?
I said I will update the log.
What does that mean? What you keep saying that? What does that mean? You're going to write a few words on the computer?
The log.
Yeah, and then what? This is the last van load. I've done four runs, and then it's sad, isn't it? It's sad. But the family at least will be hopefully somewhere safe. Well, they will be somewhere safe. Their stuff, don't know how long it's going to remain in storage until the council can get them a new house. But it's a travesty that the families of survivors are having to leave this town whilst the men roam around like they own it.
No, I just got, I just want to set a date. I've got lots of information I'd like to give him about grooming gangs. No, not about this, sorry, yeah. No, so I've got, I wasn't meant to be up here, I was going to come up Monday, but I've just got lots of information that I want to hand to him.
There's been a lot of stuff talking about envelopes being passed over in restaurants.
Rob Rondell doesn't want to meet with Tommy.
Categorically, Tommy's not going to meet Rob Rondell. Categorically, Tommy's not going to meet Rob Rondell.
Do you value the work we do? Do you value the content we brought you? Do you want to see more of it? Do you want to see the paedophiles looking over their shoulders? Do you want the establishment rattled? Wait until you see the work we will bring you, the content we will bring you. We can't do it without your support. It costs money, security, travel, expenses, surveillance, all of it is money. Please do your part. If you want to become a producer, you can sit there and watch our next film and think, I made that, because you would have made it. If you support us monthly, sign on this donation link. Urban Scoop needs your support. Help us make the content to make the difference. Thank you.